Hey everybody, I know exactly what you're thinking. Why haven't you been uploading hardly anything over the last week? And well, that's just because I don't want you guys to get tired of me, my face, my voice, and oversaturation. That's not at all the reason. I've been very sick, I've been really ill. You can probably still hear it in my voice. I am beaten down with the sickness. Ooh, ah, 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 ah. But that doesn't matter because I do have a duty to you guys to get my... What do I even do on this channel? Well, today we're going to be talking in depth about the Spider-Man PS4 Marvel Spider-Man plot, which will include heavy spoilers for this game because it's a very story-driven game. And if you don't want that, well, that's your warning. Bye. And if you're still here, well, then let's talk about this. And I'm sorry that I sound like an absolute idiot right now. I am on all the medications. I probably shouldn't say that. Don't do drugs, kids. So as I said before, we have a very experienced Peter Parker. He's 23 years old, but he still can't pay his rent. He's working as a scientist. He's not actually with the Daily Bugle anymore, which is... There's a funny story behind that. One of the backpacks has a textbook with a bullet hole in it, and he actually was shot at by a cop because they thought he was working with Electro because of pictures Peter was taking of himself, so he decided he had to leave the Bugle. And in another backpack, you find out that when he left, he got a card that was signed by everybody, including Eddie Brock. So we have Eddie Brock in this game, which, in conjunction with something else, does mean Venom. But he's working for Otto Octavius, which is interesting because that means that there hasn't been a Dr. Octopus at this point. But just give it a couple hours, you'll see him. And the game opens up with Peter taking down Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin. And he says, hey, within a couple of months, the city's gonna fall to crap, and it's because I'm gone. It created a power vacuum. Somebody worse is gonna show up. And he was right. Mr. Negative and his inner demons came to fill that void left by Kingpin. Mr. Negative, who actually turns out to be Martin Lee, who runs the homeless shelter that Aunt May works at in this universe, and is also where Miles Morales ends up working. Let me just talk about Miles Morales and Mary Jane in this game. I hated their missions. I felt like they were fine characters, I guess. Mary Jane got really annoying because she had this arc where she was like, you treat me like I'm made of glass and I can't do things. And it's like, well, Mary Jane, all you do in this game is sneak into heavily guarded areas and do your best to not get shot. You need Spider-Man if you're going to be doing stuff like that. That's like if... Moving on. And Miles is just kind of a Spider-Man fanboy who, come on. Who earlier in the game was like, I can't do what you do. But then, of course, by the end of it, he gets bitten. And it's like, if you guys have been here since June, then you know that I don't like Miles Morales as a character. I think he's lazy. I think he's bad. I'm not excited about the prospect of playing as him as Spider-Man in the future. I don't like the character. So out of all the things that they set up, that's not really my favorite thing. But along the way, you come across a lot of other characters like Tombstone, who I predicted would be in the game. Black Cat, who I predicted would be in the game and then found out she was in it later. Silver Sable, who I kind of sort of thought would be in the game, maybe. She was there. She's actually a huge part of the story. And at a certain point, when everybody breaks out of the raft, I was also right about the it's you. That was Dr. Octopus. But let's talk about why that actually happened. You spend the entire game on this journey with Otto trying to come up with a neural interface with prosthetic limbs that are going to revolutionize the way that people get, I don't know, the full capacity of their bodies back, but his personality changes and his goals get higher and higher throughout the game. And you find out he has an axe to grind with Norman Osborn, who is not the Green Goblin in this universe yet. And he's not the only one with an axe to grind against Norman Osborn. It's also Martin Lee. Martin Lee, because I think he was dying when he was younger, and Oscorp was like, we're going to infuse you with the negative zone, and then bam, his parents died. That was a little bit vague, but when it comes to Octavius, they built Oscorp together, and then he got ousted and humiliated, and now all he has to go on is grants from the city that Norman gives him. And it turns out Otto has a mental degradation disease, I guess, and the longer he wears the neural thing that connects him to the arms, the more it changes his personality. So he becomes straight up Dr. Octopus and just releases this death gas in the city. And with that, he forms the Sinister Six. You take down all six of them, and it's a great thing. I really enjoyed the boss fights with Dr. Octopus and with Mr. Negative. But at the end of the game, it's revealed that Dr. Octopus knew the entire time that Peter was Spider-Man. And he's like, you knew? And then it just becomes, you knew. He's so angry at him. It's like, you knew I was Spider-Man, and you laughed at me basically, while you worked on technology for my greatest enemies and were coming up with a plan to destroy me. You knew, yet you still threaten the people that are closest to me. So it becomes very personal. When you defeat him, Octavius is like, I knew you would turn on me. And he's like, turn on you? I worshipped you. You were my idol and you failed me. You know, you had so much potential and you threw it all away being a psycho villain. And you really feel that because Peter has lost father figures because of something that he felt like he failed to do in the past. It's kind of an Uncle Ben tie-in. So it actually makes a whole lot of sense in universe and in character for Peter Parker to be so upset about that. But that's not where it stops for him, because the death gas that Otto released earlier in the game has affected May. And he had the choice to either save her with all the antidote or wait until the antidote could be synthesized and save everybody else that was infected. And being a hero, you know what he chose. He saved the day, I guess, but he lost his aunt, and that sucks, because I'm sitting there, I'm about to cry right along with him. I don't feel these things in a game. The thing that works out, though, is not only is Spider-Man a well-recognized brand, this game sets up their own version of Spider-Man so well, and you understand very quickly what's going on. And I also want to talk about Yuri real quick. I loved Yuri. She was a great kind of sort of passive character to be in the story, somebody that Peter could get insider information about what's going on in the city from. They had a really good dynamic. I like that they had an aromantic dynamic. I still felt like Peter should have made. And in true Marvel fashion, this game has two post-credit scenes. The first post-credit scene is Miles is like, I have powers now, so he sticks to the ceiling, and then Peter sticks to the ceiling, and that's when they find out that they... Whatever, moving on to the really important one. The game says a lot that Harry is in Europe. They never say where in Europe, because Europe's a continent, not a country or a city. But you find out that Harry's actually really sick towards the end of the game, like dying levels of sick. And it's in a Mary Jane sequence, so I guess props for that. But at the very end, Norman goes to the little capsule tube thing that Harry's decrepit body is in, and he's covered in this black goo that looks like it's from Alien or something. And then Norman puts his hand on the glass, and then the black stuff also goes at the glass, and it's like, that's a symbiote. You want to turn Harry into Venom. Don't do that, but definitely do Venom. And also, don't DLC us to the point where you can't make a sequel, because if you want to make a sequel, you can actually do it very, very quickly. Just take the assets from this game, write a new story, get the mocap actors back in. 2 years. You don't have to spend another like 4 years on this game now that you've made it. But hey, that's just where I'm standing on the Spider-Man. Anyway, if you've made it all the way to the end of this video, I assume you've played Spider-Man or watched somebody play it. So, Marvel Spider-Man. Did you enjoy it? Did you play it? Did you watch somebody play it? Actually, let me know if you watched it or played it, and if you watched it, is it because you have an Xbox, or is it because you have a PlayStation and just didn't want to watch it, or do you have a Switch? I don't know. Just please comment something. Please. Anyway, if you want more videos from me, well, I think by this point, you know what to do. Wink!